Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll call the meeting to order. Our land acknowledgement statement. We acknowledge with respect to history, spirituality, and culture of the Anishinaabe, the people of the three tribes known as Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations who have inhabited this land from time immemorial. Further give thanks to the Chippewa Saugeen, the Chippewa Nawash, now known as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as the traditional keepers of this land. We also recognize the Métis and the Inuit whose ancestors shared this land and these waters. May we all, as treaty people, live with respect on this land, live in peace and friendship with all its diverse people. Moving on to the agenda, we're down for approval of the agenda. Is there any item that council wanted to add to this agenda? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as previously communicated to council and uploaded to the township website, we are respectfully requesting that bylaw 2021-061, being a bylaw to appoint an interim CEO, be included as agenda item 15.2.2. And further, as previously discussed today, we are suggesting that closed session discussions be deferred for tomorrow's closed session within the special council meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Seeing no other additions, I have a recommendation here that bylaw 2021.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, Councillor Thompson has his hand raised.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Councillor Thompson.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I do have one addition to the agenda that I would like to bring forward. Do you want me to give a description of it now?
Is it under new business? Under new business?
Yeah, it would be under new business. It's about cell phone policy.
Okay. So noted.
Thank you.
Is there any other items that want to be added to the agenda here today? See none? The bylaw 2021-061 being a bylaw to appoint an interim CEO be added to the amended agenda. And one item under new business, read cell phones, and item 15.22. I guess I didn't read that quite right, did I? Sorry. I'll read it again. Bylaw 2021-061 being a bylaw to appoint an interim CEO be added to the agenda as item 15.22 and closed session discussions including agenda item 19.1 be deferred for discussion at the September 9th, 2021 special meeting of council, and that under new business discussion on cell phone, and that agenda be approved as amended. Someone to move the motion, please. Moved by Councillor Sullivan, second by Councillor Thompson. Is there any discussion on the motion before us? Seeing none, a show of hands, all in favor? It's carried. Council, please bear with me. It's again the training and retraining to be able to look at the screen and look at the members beside me. So bear with me if I make a mistake. Disclosure of procuring your answers you can prepare anytime you see fit during the meeting. Minutes of the previous minutes. I have a recommendation here that the minutes of council meeting held on August 25th, 2021 be adopted. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Pringle, second by Councillor Barca. Is there any discussion on the motion before us? Seeing none, a show of hands, all in favor? The motion is carried. Our next recommendation is that the minutes of the special council meeting held on August 30th, 2021 be adopted. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Colburn, second by Councillor Thompson. Any discussion on the motion before us? Seeing none, the show of hands, all in favor? The motion is carried. Our last recommendation is that the minutes of the special council meeting held on September 2nd, 2021 be adopted. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Carlson, second by Councillor Barfoot. Is there any discussion on the motion before us? Seeing none, show of hands, all in favor of the motion? The motion is carried. Moving on our agenda, we have no announcements, no public hearings, no delegations. The consent agenda, would any member like to add, or would any member like to pull any item on the consent agenda for further discussion? Seeing none, recommendation then is that the agenda be approved as presented. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Thompson.
Apologies.
Oh, sorry.
The motion will read that the consent agenda be received for information as circulated. I apologize, that's incorrectly written on your script.
I'll take blame for that. Thank you. I should have known. So, all in favor of the motion before us? Motion was carried. No correspondence here today. Committee reports. Recommendation is that the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held on September 1, 2021 be adopted, including recommendations COW 2021-86 to COW 2021-92. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Sullivan, second by Councillor Pringle. Is there any discussion on the motion before us? Seeing none, a show of hands, all in favor of the motion? The motion is carried. Second to catch up. We're down to staff reports, which we have none. Madam Clerk, was there any members of the public to any questions? No? None?
There was none.
Thank you. Bylaws, we have none. Other bylaws? Do we want to deal with your bylaw first, Madam Clerk?
No, Mr. Mayor, you'll deal with 2021-060 first, please.
Sorry. Okay. Bylaw 2021-060 being a bylaw to authorize execution of documents to accept conveyance of lands required for the municipality public highway system and to assume Spencer, Collin Drive, Alice Drive, Big Rock Road as roadways in the municipality public highway system be read a first, second, third time. Finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed the corporation, endorsed in the bylaw. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Carlton, second by Councillor Thompson. Director of Operations, Mr. Dolmer, you want to speak to this?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to council, we're looking to assume these private roads into our municipal network. It has been a 2-year process as per the development agreement that was signed by the township when they started the assumption process. So everything has been received from the developer, and also the survey has been done for the area as well. So we are ready to assume these roads and move forward with the assumption of this subdivision.
Thank you, Steve. Does council have any questions? Councillor Barfoot.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, just hear it. Sorry. Is the speed limit, is the speed limit issue been dealt with, Stephen?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Barfoot, as we will be assuming these roads, the speed limit reduction or the speed limit review of these roads will be reviewed as part of our Q4 report that's coming to council on some other roads as well. At this time, the roads will be posted as a 50 as our municipal bylaw.
Knowing that area well, I have to agree with her.
It's a drop.
Knowing that area well, I have to agree with her.
Deputy Mayor Carlson.
Sorry, can we ask Councillor Barfoot, when you say you agree with her, who is her?
I assume the rest of council probably got Joanne Bierman. Stephen got it. Do you remember? I forget how many got it. I don't know. I forwarded it to Stephen. And I believe the CAO.
Any comments, Steve?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Barfoot. Yes, we did receive correspondence from a resident out there in regards to a speed limit reduction that will be coming forward in a report in a future council meeting or committee of the whole meeting to council on some other roads that were reduced, looking for reductions as well. At this time, it's posted as a 50 within the municipal the Highway Traffic Act so that people can follow obey the rules. But there will be a report coming further down the road here to council with a lot of the other roads that were requesting reductions as well.
Does that answer your question, Councillor Barfoot?
Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Deputy Mayor Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a compliment to staff. I happened to go for a drive out there on the weekend, and that section of Francis Lake Road that has been redone by staff looks absolutely beautiful, and as compared to what it used to be, it was a real pleasure to drive on. So kudos to staff. Thank you.
Okay, I see no other questions or concerns with the motion before us. Show of hands, all in favor of the motion, please. Motion is carried. All I can say is thank God we finally assumed these roads. Moving on with our agenda, we're down to our next bylaw. Bylaw 2021-61 being bylaw to appoint an interim CEO. We read it first, second, third time, finally passed, signed and mirrored, clerk, sealed the corporation, and endorsed in the bylaw book. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Barfoot, second by Councillor Sullivan. Is there any discussion on the motion before it? Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to note that as included in the bylaw, this bylaw will not take effect until September 18th, 2021.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So noted. If there's no discussion on the motion before us, a show of hands, all in favor? The motion is carried. We're down to unfinished business. We've none. New business. I'll carry on with the letter first. I have a recommendation here, which I'll read first. This was brought forward by Councillor Colburn. Do you want to speak to it first, Councillor Colburn? I'll read the motion first and then speak to it after. Okay? Whereas the Truth and Reconciliation Commission released its report on June 2nd, 2015, which included 94 calls to action to redress the legacy of residential schools and advance the process of Canadian reconciliation. And whereas the recent discoveries of remains and unmarked graves across Canada have led to increased calls for all levels of government to address the recommendations in the TRSC's calls to action. And whereas all Canadians and all orders of government have a role to play in reconciliation. And whereas recommendations number 80 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission called upon the federal government in collaboration with Aboriginal people to establish as a statutory holiday a national day for true reconciliation to ensure that public commemoration of the history and legacy of residential schools remains a vital component of the reconciliation process. And whereas the federal government has announced September 30th, 2021 as the first National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, National Orange Shirt Day, as a statutory holiday. And therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of Georgian Bluffs does hereby commit to recognizing September 30th, 2021 as the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, National Orange Shirt Day, by sharing the stories of residential school survivors, the families, and communities. Councillor Coburn, are you going to move this motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move this motion. This resolution was brought forward from AMO for municipalities to adopt. And I would like, I'm sorry?
I was going to say, I'll get the motion second first.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Moved by Councillor Bartlett. Now the floor is yours, Councillor Coburn. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was just saying that this resolution was developed and brought forward by AMO for municipalities to adopt. And I would like to see our council support it. As everyone's aware, the House of Commons passed legislation to make September 30th a National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and to commemorate the history and ongoing trauma caused by residential schools, and to honor the survivors, families, and communities who continue to grieve for their losses. I would like to see our municipality designate this as an official day and make a commitment in that way to the truth and reconciliation process. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Coburn. Just so council knows, this very motion is on County Council tomorrow as part of our agenda. Deputy Mayor Crowell, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just pulled that up because I knew it was on County Council tomorrow. And what the county is also asking for is that all flags be lowered to half-mast and that the Every Child Matters flag be flown annually on September 30th. And that the Every Child Matters flag be added to the flag lowering policy of the county. I'm wondering if we want to look at doing that here at the township as well. If we could add that to your motion, Councillor Coburn.
You okay if we amend the motion to that, Councillor Coburn?
Absolutely, and thank you for that suggestion, Deputy Mayor. I believe it also recommends that we add some educational materials to our municipal website and include the stories of these families and the residential school survivors. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, question for you. In our flag policy, which we do have in the municipality, would we add this to that too automatically, or?
I'm unsure I can answer that right now without pulling up the flag policy. I'm unsure what it addresses. So if you leave that with staff, we can come back with further information as to how we would address that.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Yeah, I'm sorry, do that at our committee whole meeting, correct? Yeah. Is there any discussion on the motion before us? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask for a recorded vote on this motion.
Okay, a recorded vote has been requested. So when I call your name, please indicate your vote on the motion as amended. Councillor Kathy Coburn.
For.
Councillor Paul Sutherland.
For.
Councillor Ryan Thompson.
For.
Councillor Carol Bartlett.
For.
Councillor Grant Pringle.
For.
Deputy Mayor Sue Carlton.
For.
And Mayor Joy Bailey.
For.
Thank you, and that carries.
I just want to show that council is united on this particular motion. So moving on with our agenda, this is when we should go over to Mr. Councilor Thompson for 15. Councilor Thompson. Ryan, go ahead. The floor is yours. You want to bring up something?
Thanks. I don't usually get involved in an operational decision like this, but it's something that I've noticed a few times, and it came up again today. So I thought I would bring it out for. and then we can direct from there. Or maybe we can listen to the CAO's comments. But I've always found our clerk to be extremely helpful to me. And there are times when either through technological or procedural things, I find myself calling her. She doesn't have a township cell phone, which surprises me. And I've often joked with her about it and said, why don't you have a township cell phone? So I guess my question is, shouldn't she have a township provided cell phone? And it is an operational comment, so maybe I'm misdirecting this, but I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's something that's important, especially given her acting role currently. So I throw that out there for comments or consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Mr. CEO, your comment on this item?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I think a couple of things on that note. When we started a work from anywhere during the pandemic policy, we provided staff that required cell phones, and we also provided the opportunity for those who chose to use their personal cell phones an opportunity for reimbursement so that they could be doing their work and be accessible. We've also, since that time, implemented the 3CX system, which also makes our staff more available and able to be behind their screens and answer phones wherever they are while they're working and beyond. But if the operational role requires a cell phone, then we certainly should be providing all staff that require a cell phone to perform their duties as staff a cell phone. So that's something that we can certainly look at. We'll speak to Brittany and we can take it from there. But as I said, our policy allows us to not only have someone have a corporate issued cell phone to do their job, but also has the opportunity during these crazy times that they can use their personal cell phone and get reimbursed for using that personal cell phone at an equivalent rate of what we would pay for a corporate issued phone.
Thank you, Al. With Madam Clerk's new role as of September 18th, it probably would be a good idea if you had a cell phone, a township cell phone. So will I just turn this over to staff as an operational thing and you guys can discuss it and maybe just let Council Whitney decide later? Is that okay? Is that okay, Councilor Thompson?
That's great, and thank you for the explanation, because I always feel some level of guilt when I'm calling on what I think is Brittany's personal cell phone. So I didn't understand the reimbursement policy, so that would make me feel a bit better as well. So thanks very much.
Thank you. So moving on our agenda, and Madam Clerk, I'm completely floating around the river here by myself. We've no notice of motions, I believe. It's just, any member of council want to bring a notice of motion forward? I don't see any. So our closed session has been changed. Okay. I got it now. That's approved under agenda 2. Closed session has been deferred for consideration at tomorrow's scheduled special council meeting. And I believe, Madam Clerk, the special council meeting is at 4 o'clock and it's virtual. Okay. So we're down to the confirming bylaw. The bylaw 2021-62 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council on September 8th, 2021 be read first, second, third time, finally passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed to the seal of the corporation and endorsed in the bylaw book. Someone to move to put on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Bartlett, second by Councillor Colburn. Any discussion on this motion? Madam Clerk, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to note for the record that the resolution has been amended to reflect the new bylaw number being 062 as we added 061 to the agenda.
Okay, thank you. If there's no discussion on the motion before us, a show of hands, all in favor? The motion is carried. Our next meeting will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock, a special call meeting. Hopefully everybody can be there. And then our committee whole meeting will be September 15th, 2021, 5 o'clock. So one more motion, a motion to adjourn. By Council Barfoot, second by Council Sullivan. Show of hands, all in favor of adjournment? We're now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.